Hi, my name is Scott Denoyer. I'm here to share with you a tragic story and the reason that I became a healthcare activist. I made a promise, and that promise I plan on keeping. I promised my son. You see, my son Danny moved in with me back in February of 2019. He'd had a few problems going on in his life. A few weeks after he moved in with me, he comes home and he tells me that he had gone to get his medication refilled and that his insurance had been canceled. His insurance was Fidelis Care, owned by Centene, through the Managed Medicaid program, part of the ACA. I told Danny that day, "Not a big deal, son. We'll take care of it. How much is it?" He tells me it's $250. It was a big deal because we didn't have $250. I was like, "Okay, Danny, well, I'll tell you what, you've got your appointment with your therapist in a couple of weeks. I'm sure she'll be able to help you out. In the meantime, we'll try to come up with the money, and you should call Fidelis first thing on Monday and find out what happened." He didn't call first thing on Monday, as kids typically don't do what they're supposed to. He waited a few days. He called on around April 1st or April 2nd, where he found out he missed a $20 payment. $20. Yep. Danny missed a $20 payment to a program that was already paid for by our federal subsidies through the ACA. So they canceled his treatment, or at least they canceled the payment of his treatment. We couldn't afford it. They told him that his insurance would be reinstated in the next billing cycle on May 1st. Unfortunately, May 1st was too late. On April 9th, I see the last message I'll ever see from my son again. He says to us, "I just want everyone to know that I love them. I'm saying goodbye. This world wasn't meant for me. Maybe the next life will be better. I superglued my seatbelt." He superglued his seatbelt. Double checked. "I don't have the strength to open it, and I choose death by drowning because I can't get above this pain. I'm sorry for hurting those who care. This is selfish, I'm sure. But I've been staring at the water for hours, and I've made my decision. Daniel and Hazel, I'm so fucking sorry." Daniel and Hazel are my grandchildren. Drove his truck into the Mohawk River that day. I live 5 minutes from Saratoga Lake. His post was shared along with a picture of the water overlooking from the cab of his truck. I thought he was at the lake and that's where we live. I jumped in my car and raced to save him. Obviously, I couldn't have made it in time. I couldn't save Danny that day, but I did promise him that I'll make our lawmakers look me in the eye and see the consequences of their decisions. I'm nobody but a simple dad that lives in the middle of nowhere. I don't have anything, but I'm going to keep this promise. Centene made $60.1 billion in 2018 and had a 24% growth because of adding Managed Medicaid, part of the ACA. In a country that can't guarantee health care as a human right to its citizens, when a corporation that makes that kind of cash can deny health care over a $20 bill, a $20 bill, $20. When anybody can be denied care like this for a treatment that's available, and we let our people die, and we forget that 68,000 lives a year are people, they're our children. They're not commodities to be bought and sold on the free market. We don't need access to health care. I have access to a Lamborghini if I can afford it. My son didn't have access to his health care if he couldn't afford the $250 prescription. This has got to change. I'm telling you all of this from my wife's memory garden. Here, let me show you. This is the cost of our healthcare system. This was my son. Now, let's see if I can get this right. He lays here. Ashes under a rock. But I'll tell you what, I ain't giving up. I'm not stopping. It's a suicide hashtag. No one fights alone. And the semicolon represents. This story is not over.